Your side is over there, bro. Like, bro, look at this, bro. He's tripping, bro. Yo, Chester, go.
Zombie Rush. Definitely a name that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have already have a memory blast just remembering the good old days of Roblox. And this was personally one of my first ever games that I actually started to play and of course get very quickly hooked on. Once a game that had around thousands to tens of thousands of active players to now literally a gravestone of its former glory. But of course, what happened to Zombie Rush? But first, what is Zombie Rush? Well, Zombie Rush is a game created in 2013, you know, the golden age of gaming. Zombie Rush is a game where you essentially just spawn into a map and your goal is to survive for as long as possible. Your typical zombie survival genre game. You essentially just kill zombies which drop XP, which you can essentially level up and unlock many more different types of weapons, melee weapons, and of course grenades and stuff. The actual gameplay is honestly pretty damn straightforward since it's literally just you spawn into a map with no abilities, nothing like that. In current today's standards, this is probably one of the most like bland games out there, but back in those early good old-fashioned prime days, this was essentially gold. Having just hundreds of zombies spawning in every single second in every single direction just made it to where it was an actual challenge to survive and of course try to level up by killing these undead. And the weapons you unlock when you first play this game were very, let's just say, typical of being low tier and just terrible weapons such as pistols, shotguns, SMGs that don't really do that much damage. And of course, the more you level up, the many more weapons you unlock that do slightly more damage. This is essentially how the game tries to get you hooked, by essentially rewarding the players by giving them so many weapons that you can unlock at a very early levels, so you can essentially keep grinding the games, unlocking more stronger weapons that do slightly better than the last, and essentially just do perform better. This was exactly what people needed. Basically just non-stop action of undead just spawning in every single corner, cracking the walls, that essentially it just became addicting that there was just so many things to shoot at every single second. Non-stop action. This game reportedly got so big on Roblox that instead of just making their own outside products, like for an example t-shirts and other merch, they instead did something that is a lot surprising, and that is legit toy merch. With all of these aspects, great gameplay, a lot of traction to the game's player base, and of course merch, this game seemed unstoppable for literally years. However, things of course went downhill, as a lot of you guys have suspected, because sooner or later the player base started to drop dramatically from this game. And not only that, but also just content creators and other YouTubers and whatnot started to just do other things than play Zombie Rush. There was suddenly just many more also zombie genre or just bigger games on Roblox that everyone else was also jumping to. And in all honesty, Zombie Rush just started to become a little bit tame and boring and not really giving as much of satisfaction to the player base as they once did. Obviously, the creators saw this, so they decided to add more stuff in. Reasonable. Like, literally, if people are starting to get bored with the game, to add in more shit that literally fixes it. And they did. For many years, with never-ending changes to the game, such as more maps and of course many more levels that exceeded the 1,000 level mark, and of course all the way up to 10,000. It's no surprise on why this game is mainly just a graveyard. But why? Why exactly did this game just die super hard? There's a lot of levels to go, there's different types of maps, and of course there's a lot of different and huge variety of weapons in your arsenal, and also grenades and other stuff. So how exactly did this game essentially just fall off so hard? Well, it comes back to three main plot points which I've seen in a majority of games. First and foremost, the biggest one, and that is the hype train. As you guys know, there's a lot of different games that are basically being introduced into Roblox every single day almost. Some start off well, some just don't even make it past 10 players, and then others just blow up out of nowhere to where they're literally the #1 most played game on Roblox because huge names are behind the creation of the game, but also content creators who also make videos on said game, giving it even more attention. However, all of this is from the hype train, and once another game is essentially created or gets super popular again, there's a huge chance, and when I mean a huge chance, I mean like a 99% chance that everyone who was mainly playing your game is gonna go over to the other game because that is the new hype, that is the new trend, and so they're obviously gonna go over there. Just like what happened to Dead Rails, Grow a Garden, and it looks a little bit like 99 Nights, but then again, all of these games were literally built on the hype train, on the trend, and once all of that popularity slowly started to dry up, so did its player base, and this is no excuse for Zombie Rush. And as time went on, its content creators and of course big names tied to the game started to go to other directions, which brings us to our second plot point: gameplay and progression. I already talked about how there was so many levels and so many guns and so many enemies that it's pretty much just an endless sight, literally an endless tunnel. And this is honestly one of the biggest reasons on the downfall of Zombie Rush, because I mean, look at these levels. These levels at first demand the player to reach level 10 to 50 to a few hundred, and then literally 1,000, 5,000, and then 10,000.
Fuck no, baby.
What the fuck? I'm literally level 500, and this was like over the course of what, 7-8 years of just time to time playing. Literally the last time I played this was like 7 months ago, and I was surprised I was even 500. I thought it was like 100 or something like that. And yes, having so many more things for your player base is actually amazing and great for a long-term player base. However, you need to make that long-term enjoyment actually enjoyable, as these weapons, although being okay-ish and then eventually getting better and better and better, are exactly that. They're just not that good, and the many more levels you go up, these weapons just slowly get better and better and better. And of course, there's no way in hell any of us are gonna go and literally play this game to the long run of 10,000 levels just for our weapon to literally insta-kill enemies. These levels just drag on for so long, especially these weapons reliabilities, that it doesn't even feel fun for a long-term person to be even playing this game. I literally got bored after like what, an hour of playing this game, or not really an hour, more or less like 30 to 20 minutes, mainly because the gameplay was also bland as just the progression. It's just zombies constantly spawning with no real abilities, no real points, no real objective apart from survive for as long as you can, and that's it. It's simply just run around and just kill, which I mean could be fun, but how they executed this game on a long-term basis is definitely not gonna work. And finally, that brings us to our third and final plot point: pay to win. Now, pay to win is a very notorious phrase in the gaming space, and it's no surprise that this game also had some pay to win features as well, like a lot of them. If you just check the description of this game, you can see just hundreds of different options to essentially just make you stronger, of course behind Robux, which you can earn by of course paying real money or just begging on the game, begging for people to give you anything. Like, the cheapest option here that we have is a pack of items for 200 Robux, and the most expensive item is the Banhammer for 10,000. Oh wait, no, scratch that. It is the Nuke Launcher for 15,000.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Now, I once saw someone using this in a game, but that was like a year ago, and Jesus Christ, dude, I could not believe how insanely powerful these weapons are. Especially when, of course, in the actual game, you cannot earn these items at all. You actually have to pay for these items. You have to pay real money for this. Not only just this item, but almost for every single item on here, especially the rainbow SMGs, which I saw constantly, and some other many different items. And of course, these items are insanely OP. That literally makes them invincible, which is, you know, the literal definition of pay to win. Now, in conclusion, What happened to Zombie Rush? Well, in all honesty, this game just died hard, mainly because of just how time goes by. And let's not forget, in the end, Zombie Rush still has a okay-ish player base. Well, not really okay-ish, literally less than 100 active players whenever you see this game, and this game barely also gets updated. For now, we can only look back on Zombie Rush back in the days being an absolute juggernaut in the gaming space on Roblox, and currently to now where it is just a corpse of its former glory. But we shouldn't be too hard on Zombie Rush, as Zombie Rush most likely had an inspiration and a lot of leverage behind the creation of many other games down the path as the years went on and essentially games got better and better. Thank you, Zombie Rush. You are a nostalgic legacy that essentially needs to be thought of every once in a while.